Hi there, Libra. Welcome to your mid-August 2018 tarot update. It's Rena here, just shuffling the cards, as I'm always doing at the beginning. And this is the Wild Unknown Tarot deck, just for your information. The first two cards I got, one was the Sun and one was the Father. So, okay. Oops, I'm giving you this longer reading. I wasn't supposed to do that, but, well, when you gotta do it, you gotta do it. So you get kind of like a bonus, I guess. Wow, a lot of swords. Well, you're swords, so what am I talking about here? I shouldn't be so surprised. Swords can also connect to a lot of thinking, maybe a lot of strategery, and a lot of sometimes conflict, drama, or communication back and forth with somebody. But actually, the first card I got was the Son of Wands. I think did I say the Son of Swords? And this is connected to the Knight of Wands. So if this is another person in question, this will be somebody who, I think that card connects with Sagittarius, but I would rather broaden it to all the fire signs, especially Aries, which is your opposite sign. I always make a strong connection to Aries, even more than Sagittarius, because in the Morgan Greer deck that I usually use, they show somebody who looks like they're going off to war, and to me, with the Martian energy, it indicates to me somebody who is kind of a battler in life. And this card can represent sometimes someone who is afraid of commitment, especially a male. So if you are someone who is interested in this person, the dynamic may be, as a Libra, that you're trying to get them to commit. Maybe you've been seeing this person, and I would say there could be instances where the Libra person is overblowing the relationship, where you're seeing it as some grand romance and he's seeing it as a booty call. I like saying booty call because it sounds so passé to say that, but you know, out of date. But what else can we call it now? A hookup, a random hookup, and not really random. It's like friends with benefits. And that other person may not see it in the romantic sense. So, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. And the foundation of this reading is, oh yes, the Ten of Swords. I got this for another sign. Look at that. It's right through the eyes. That's the thing that I get the biggest kick out of with this deck. So it really emphasizes getting stabbed in the back, you know. I always say metaphorically because it's such a horrible phrase. But, yeah, so that suggests like a definite betrayal. And so I'm going to assume this is in a personal relationship for you guys. Unless there's a coworker who you think is like the Knight of Wands, who's very feisty, and they may have been the one who stole your job from you or stole your promotion, and they kind of worked behind the scenes to do that. But usually the Knight of Wands isn't necessarily devious. They tend to be pretty straightforward, I would think. The only thing about them is that they're afraid of commitment, but I don't think that they tend to be like kind of backstabbers. So I'm not sure the workplace scenario really qualifies. I think this might be more about maybe part of this is you and your not willing, your lack of willingness to see what was really happening in this relationship, and you made more out of it than it was. I don't know. What crosses you is represented by the Father of Cups. So this is a male. It's supposed to be like an older male, but I don't like to use chronology anymore because sometimes young people can be very immature. But this is in the challenge position, so he is emotionally immature anyhow. It just may indicate that his chronological age is older than you, or that he's the father of your child. And I'm wondering if that's the same person. And if it's... if that's the case, if that's the father of your child and he's kind of a player and he doesn't want to settle down, he may have a drinking problem. He may, and that may be why he's so irresponsible and so emotionally immature. But he may manipulate you and make you think that this is all your fault. You're doing something, you did something that made him do what he does. How can I be with you? You nag all the time. And the reason that you're nagging is that you want a relationship. So he's taking the thing that you're asking for, and maybe even with those who are trying to be cool about it, and I think a lot of Libra people are not necessarily going to just nag somebody in the classic sense. But just even like making a request of somebody like this can cause them to go off because they have a sense of entitlement. They think that they are kings. You know, the father represents the king. So they think they're kings on some throne and that they don't have to answer to anybody, even when they're in a relationship with someone. And they want to be able to do whatever they want to do when they want to do it. And if you're not okay with that, then all of a sudden you're nagging them. So if you're in that kind of a trap, you have to realize that you cannot make this person see. Chances are they are using this as an excuse to keep doing what they're doing. They don't really have a genuine interest in understanding your point of view, or else they would do so. Otherwise, they would make statements indicating that they're trying to get to know you and you're working overtime or you are always yelling, and they might say it in a way that makes them actually genuine. But a lot of these people, they are using whatever they're saying as excuses, but it doesn't mean that that is what they really believe, and that if you changed, that they would change. But I definitely feel that when somebody does say why they are acting a certain way, that we should at least give it some validity at first and at least consider it. I don't want to give people the impression that you should just blow off whatever other people say about you and not even take it into consideration, because there might be times when they're not trying to be vindictive, when they really are wishing you the best. So if you have a child with this person, you may feel like they're not acting like a parent. If they have an addiction, you may not want them around your child. The higher message is the Ace of Pentacles. Oh, I forgot to tell you too that Father of Cups, this could be a boss. And maybe the boss has an alcohol problem, and that's why they are acting so dysfunctional at work. And the higher message here would be, you need to get another job. And they're telling you this because it's like sometimes we have problems, but our problems are situational. They're just due to whoever we're surrounding ourselves with. And I think so many times people get into the trap of waiting for somebody else to get better, to stop drinking, to have a come to Jesus moment, see the error of their ways. And does that ever happen? Of course it does, but it's not on your timetable. And therefore, you might be waiting a long time for somebody to have one of these revelations. So, to me, that's disempowering. To me, it's always better to kind of be in the driver's seat and be the one dictating the, how you're going to deal with a particular situation, and not the other way around. For the practical advice, for things you can actually do for yourself, we have the Eight of Wands. I think this is not so much telling you what you can do, but saying, watch out, because if you have felt that your life was kind of just rolling along and everything seemed like it was kind of not really active or what have you, Libra, you may find that all of a sudden things start to pick up. My feeling is that this is going to happen for a lot of us in September. That in August, because of the retrogrades, that we're still tying up the details from the past, we're cleaning up the details, we're just trying to get all our ducks in a row. And in September, it's like full speed ahead, because astrologically, there's going to be other retrogrades as the year ends. This has been a year of retrograde after retrograde, and yet in September we have like a window of opportunity until mid-December for that kind of forward movement. And for people who have been feeling like they've been spinning their wheels, and this could be in your career as well, you may find that it's a much better fit for you in September. And of course, September is your solar return month, so that's cool too. Well, those of you born in September, obviously, but at least the sun goes into Libra. So be prepared and be ready for spontaneous action. Don't assume that because you've gotten into this rut or this lull that it's always going to be this way. In the near future, we have the Wheel of Fortune. Now, I was just thinking about this in a different context, because I was thinking about Jupiter being in Scorpio and that being in your second house of earned income. And now Jupiter is direct. In September, I feel like Jupiter's effects will be felt in a much grander scale, because again, Jupiter takes a long time to get out of its shadow. It just went direct in July. As I record this, it's been like just over a month since Jupiter went direct. And in my own personal life, I've seen the effects of that, because my sun sign Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So it's an important planet for me, but for all of us, I think that this can be a time where we see growth, and for you, it's in your second house of earned income. So that's pretty cool. That means that you might be seeing a boost there, and this is coming to the end of that year-long transit. But in terms of any kind of romantic situation, if you felt like you've ended it with a couple of people who perhaps were not suitable partners for their own reasons, one person, if they're not the same person, I have to say that, because this could be like two, the Father of Cups could have been an additional card to describe that Son of Swords. And I definitely think that, we're looking at something It could be like a water sign individual or a fire sign. But both of those are emotional, so I don't know like how that would play into things. But for you, the Wheel of Fortune in the second house of earned income is Jupiter. Definitely the planet associated with Wheel of Fortune. So that's probably talking about that. And I think what the nice thing about Jupiter in the second house is it could indicate multiple income streams, where you're not putting all your eggs into one basket. And I think that's important. There will be a new moon in this second house, Libra, that is happening in November, around November 7th. But what's interesting about this is that the very next day you have Jupiter going into Sagittarius, and that is a fellow fire sign. I mean, that is, it's not a fellow fire sign, but it is a friendly angle, being a sextile to you, Libra. And I think the other thing that I would say about this is that will be in your third house of communication. So that might even figure into the kind of work that you end up doing in the next 12 months. So yeah, I'm going to just leave that there. But that could indicate, like, if there's any kind of problems right now, maybe you thought you were getting a promotion, somebody else took it, you're still going to have some kind of bump, increase, good fortune when it comes to your finances. And in terms of Wheel of Fortune, your love life, same thing. You know, sometimes you don't feel aligned, sometimes things seem blah, but then all of a sudden things pick up, which the Eight of Wands represents. The outcome is the Daughter of Swords, which is the Page of Swords. And this can be a card of perhaps a certain vigilance that you have, where you are, again, this is swords, so it is connected to that air energy, where you are more discerning, where you are not as willing to believe lies. So with the Knight of Wands, if that person, you haven't severed ties with them, you might begin to be checking out their stories, what they're telling you, and looking on social media, and probably doing this so that you can confront the person with the reality versus what they told you. And the purpose, I think, for that is, I don't think you would hold out any illusion that this is going to help the relationship. I think that, in a way, it might be you trying to show this person what a liar that they are and what you've had to put up with. And for other people, this might be a situation of some kind of great economic opportunity for you. And you're just like maybe keeping an eye out, keeping an eagle eye out for these, yeah, because they're using the owl, and it's that focus on details or information. It's a spy card. So it can be a card to ferret out information that helps you. And so there could be like a certain agenda that you have, that you're trying to look for a certain piece of information. So that's always a possibility as well. Now, one thing that I wanted to say, something that just came into my mind, is an estate. So if you're somebody who has been battling other family members, let me see what... yeah, well, you've recently had Taurus, Uranus go into that 8th house of Taurus, that's your 8th house. So there is a planet aspecting a particular house right now in that 8th house that deals in part with maybe some kind of inheritance. And at the time of this video going up, I'm not sure if Uranus is still in Taurus because it's retrograding. It's going back into Aries, but it will go back into Taurus, and you will have in late October a full moon in this sector. So you may be done with it as well, whatever this issue is. And just know that it's okay to be upset because somebody, even in your family, may have betrayed you. The Father of Cups, this could be your literal father, and whether he has passed and he, you know, it's in the challenge position, so maybe something with his will went awry. And the Son of Swords, again, a son. I told you, I said son and father. So maybe this was either a pact, a secret pact, or you have a brother who is trying to wrestle away the finance, the estate from you and other family members, or maybe multiple people betrayed you. But this is you, like you might be doing some research on your own about the situation to try to nail this and get your piece of the pie, and also to expose these people who are could be bad actors. So the Wheel of Fortune, yeah, I mean, that could be some kind of a lucky break for you. Okay, that's what I have for you, Libra. So if you'd like a private reading, my website is rainandmoonastrology.com. The link is below. I hope you have a wonderful rest of August. Take care. Bye.